Dr. K. I want to welcome you to the Whole You podcast, where culture meets wellness. Family, I'm excited. I don't know how many times I'm going to say I'm excited. This is episode 4, I think, of season 2. This is going to be the last time that I say I'm so hyped that we're back. But that's just because I am. I'm excited. Have you seen episode 1, 2, and 3 of this season? Because if you haven't, I need you to go back and watch those episodes. If you have, I'm hoping that you've been blessed. And so, like, every round goes higher. We're going to keep going, okay? And so let's just jump into it. You know how we start this podcast. We're starting with boom, culture code. Y'all not going to believe this one. You want to know what today's culture code is? It's called cloudy with a chance of planes. Why? Because there's planes falling from the sky. And I want to talk about it because it's something that's happening in culture. I fly for a living, literally. And everyone that watches this pod, I'm sure, is on an airplane at some point. If you don't fly to get to work, you're flying to spend time with family, you're flying to go on vacation and to do trips with your friends. And we have to be honest about the anxiety that we're all feeling around what has been going on with the planes and the air traffic control and all of this stuff. Now, someone could say that this is connected to the fact that it was raining red. Somebody could say that since our president decided to literally start just slashing, just cutting everything, our president and our vice president Elon. And I feel like I don't remember seeing his name on the ballot. And so I don't understand. He also wasn't sworn in as the vice president, but yet it seems like he has a role in our government that none of us voted for. Nonetheless, I'm concerned about what's going on. So y'all let me know in the comments, what are you thinking? How are you feeling as you're seeing these reports come across your timelines? Like, let me know, what is the first thing that you start feeling in your heart and in your mind? Definitely, my heart goes out to all of those that are in the aviation industry, pilots, flight attendants, the ground crew, TSA, the ones that have a positive attitude. That's a whole nother episode, child. And the air traffic controllers. These are the people that make all of this run. And you know what's so interesting to me about this culture code is how much we don't give enough attention and appreciation to the jobs, to the roles that are critical for us to do and have the conveniences that we have. And I think when it comes to aviation, of course, we think about pilots. Of course, we think about flight attendants, but we don't think about the air traffic controllers. We don't think about their sacrifices, right? And what they do day in and day out in order to keep us safe. But I want to hear from you guys about whether you've flown since this year 2025 has come in, and we've been seeing all of the things that have been happening with these planes. Was it anxiety provoking for you? Have any of you all canceled your plans? Have any of you all, maybe you had plans to fly somewhere and then you decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and turn this flight into credits and I'm going to get on the highway. I know for me, right after the um the helicopter that flew into the plane over Reagan Airport, literally not more than 2 days later, I ended up having to get on a flight from Baltimore to Atlanta. And I already struggle a little bit with anxiety around flying just because I'm in the air, y'all. I'm not on the ground. And turbulence literally has me holding the side of my seat on the airplane and literally rehearsing prophecies. Like, y'all, I be like rehearsing prophetic words that are over my life that haven't happened yet. Like, Kalita, you're going to be okay. Like, I literally sometimes have to coach myself because flying can be a challenge for me sometime. But I really did think at that moment about canceling my flight and getting in my car and just driving to Atlanta. But I think at the end of the day, we don't want to operate in fear, but I just want to give language to the fact that it's a lot going on right now, and we need to be praying for one another. We definitely need to be praying for our nation and for the decisions that President Trump is making, for the things that he is allowing other people to do with his delegated power, and just believing that we have angels literally that have charge over us to protect us. So I do want to say that our hearts go out to all of the families that have actually literally lost loved ones as a result of what's been happening with the aviation industry. And I'm really, really praying myself personally that this will cease. The other thing that I was thinking about the other day is whether or not there have been challenges in aviation here and there, and maybe they weren't as pronounced, or it wasn't necessarily highlighted. So maybe it didn't pop up on the Shade Room, or I don't know. I know when the helicopter flew into the plane over Reagan Airport, when I was watching that commentary on MSNBC and CNN, some of them were reporting that there actually had not been a lot of crashes as of recent, like in the last 3 to 5 years. So I didn't go back to actually fact check that. But nevertheless, we wanted to just give language to what we've been experiencing in culture where that's concerned. And we just need to be looking out for one another, praying for one another, and just believing that God is going to do something where this is concerned, because we do want to feel safe. You know what I'm saying? When we're flying, family. So not a funny culture code, but nevertheless something that is prominently occurring in culture right now. And shout out to everybody that voted for Trump. Y'all know what the next segment is. Ask Dr. K. Y'all already know, right? Okay, so here's the question. It says, how can someone manage anxiety about not being where they quote unquote should be in life? One of the ways that you can manage it is to be grateful that you're alive to be anywhere. That's number one. One of the things that I ironically said recently to someone who I was kind of like coaching, I talked to them about the perspective that purpose is not a destination, but that purpose is a journey. And I tell people all the time to not miss their life trying to arrive at their life. Let me say that again. Do not miss your life waiting to arrive at your life. There is not some type of pinnacle, even though culture presents it that way, which then connects to this very question of where I should be, because culture has said by this age, I need to be doing this. By this age, I should have my own home. By this age, I should be married. By this age, I should be. Those are things that culture has said to you, but that does not mean that those accomplishments have to happen at those age markers. Your purpose is happening. It is unfolding. And I do not want you to make the mistake of missing your life because you're trying to get to a particular moment in time, a particular experience in time, a particular tax bracket in time. You are where you are, not where you should be. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And I want to caution everyone watching with this. Be careful romanticizing where you should be, because remember that Dr. K told you when you get to that should, you'll be surprised that the experience is not everything that you thought it was going to be. Do not miss what's in front of you right now for something that you have yet to be able to see. You want to be grateful for where you are right now. Cherish where you are right now. Sit in where you are right now. Appreciate the pleasures that you have, the freedoms that you have. There is a yin and a yang, a pro and a con, positives and challenges to every dynamic. And it's like the people who are like, once they get married, like, man, if I had just enjoyed my single years. Like when I was in my apartment just dancing around myself, where I didn't have somebody else that I had to consider at every turn. And you miss that season really for a lack of trust that the next season was going to come. But I want to tell you from someone who actually in my 20s was always waiting for that next thing. One of the things that happens when you don't appreciate where you are right now, you never appreciate. So even when you accomplish that should be, you're on to the next should be. And what you'll end up doing is living a life that is absent of an important word, and that word is contentment. Which means that your circumstances and your experiences will be the thing that will dictate whether you have joy, whether you have peace. Listen to me. I am a little older now. I am a little wiser now, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm not trying to accomplish anything. There are certain things that I still have on my radar that I think that I want to do, but the reality is that I'm not lusting nor idling those things. They're not idols to me. I can genuinely say to you guys right now, I am content. Right now, today. Are there, again, some dreams that I still feel like would be cool if they were fulfilled? Absolutely. But I refuse to wait on tomorrow to have joy. I refuse to wait till tomorrow to have peace. Nothing can happen in my future that's going to elevate what's going on in my soul right now. And I want to encourage all of you to get to that place where you are not concerned about where you should be because you are content in where you are. Okay? You are right where you are supposed to be. Okay? All right. So, y'all know what's next? It's the situation room, and y'all be having situations, and I'm going to try to have explanations. And so, Danielle is going to read this episode's situation.
All right. This subject is Mama's favorite.
Oh, okay.
My brother and I have never been super close, but things have gotten worse ever since he started acting like I'm just some screw up. He's always been the one who got good grades, landed a great job, and basically never made mistakes, according to my mom. Meanwhile, I took a different path, made a few bad decisions, and have been working hard to turn my life around. But no matter what I do, he treats me like I'm beneath him. A few weeks ago, we got into a huge fight because he made a comment at dinner like some people just never learn, no matter how many second chances they get. I saw red. I told him he's being very judgmental and he wouldn't last a day if he had gone through half of what I've been through. But instead of saying anything to him, my mom just looked at me and said, "Don't talk to your brother like that." Mind you, when my brother lost his job because of the pandemic, I was the one who helped him stay afloat. And they act like it was my responsibility to do so. No acknowledgement, no gratitude, just more judgment. Now we barely talk, and honestly, I don't even know if I want to fix this.
Okay, that is very loaded. Um that sounds like the prodigal son times 7. Um okay, a couple of things. It's like twofold. You have the issue of what's going on with his feelings towards his mother, and then you have the dynamics of what's going on regarding this long-standing thing with your brother. So let me deal with the mother piece first. It is often that siblings will have a dance regarding how their parent feels about them as well as the other sibling in connection to them. When Elise was on in the second episode, if you didn't see it, talking about systems, that in the family system you'll see a lot of this type of conflict come to be, and you'll see that sometimes families especially will hold people's past against them and that it's difficult for them to one extend grace for mistakes and allow you to live victoriously past those mistakes. So, one, you want to view your relationship with your mother separate from how she relates to your brother. And if it is that there are aspects of or fractures that have happened with you and your mother, I want you to have the courage to possibly have a conversation with your mother about that, so that one, you can ask your mother how she feels about you, and tell your mother how you think she feels about you, and for you and your mother to have that dialogue absent of what you perceive is going on regarding how she feels about your brother in relation to you. I'm suggesting that you take a hold of your son mother relationship, and that regardless of how it may or may not have been impacted by your brother, and the juxtaposition between your brother's behavior and yours, your decisions versus your brother's decisions, that you try from a place of emotional maturity to carve out a healthy relationship between you and your mother going into the future. So that's one part. The second part is you and your brother. You guys are going to have to decide, one, whether you're going to put to bed the things that have happened in the past that cannot be changed, and whether you all are willing to reintroduce yourselves to one another. That you're not who you were when you were a child. Also, that you are not any mistake that you have made. And that's important because while you all can have dialogue and share about how you both experienced the other as you were growing up, you could absolutely talk about how your decisions impacted me. Because maybe both of you all don't know how the decisions of the other actually had an impact on you. So you all can share with one another what your experience has been like being your brother. But once you guys go through that, which would be very helpful, you're still going to have to land at whether you're willing to get to know who you all are as men now. Because one of the things that has to happen for people to move forward, especially from trauma or from fractures or even from abuses and misuses, is the ability to allow the past to live in the past. And the reason why we struggle with that, which connects to this word forgiveness, is the fact that we think that if I move forward, I'm saying that the past didn't happen, or I'm saying that what happened in the past was okay. And I feel like it's not. But that's not what it's saying. What it's saying is, I refuse to be in a prison of my past. This happened. I'm upset that it happened, but I am not going to let what happened back then keep happening in my own mind and in my own soul. Some of you all are living, loving inside of a prison where the door of the prison is wide open for you to walk out. And that is what happens when you continue to nurse the past because you're not willing to let go of the fact that you were hurt, the fact that you were violated, the fact that you were mistreated. You moving forward does not mean that it is validating or letting your brother off the hook. For both brothers, what it does mean is that I'm not a little boy anymore. Or I'm not that anymore. And we're constantly supposed to be evolving. And you have the right in different seasons of your life to circle back to people and let them know that is not who I am anymore. And you're right. Yep, I was 10 toes down because that's where I was then. I've had a change of mind. I've learned some things. I don't want to be that person anymore, and I'm making a change, and my prayer is that you will be able to make this turn with me. And so, honestly, I think that you all need to, in a healthy way, like I suggested, share what the experience has been like being the brother of the other, and then if you want to be in each other's lives, which I want to encourage you to consider doing because I feel like family is very important, that you both be willing to reintroduce one another to each other. And you guys can create a new brotherhood from here forward, okay? Life is hard. The world is very cold. And if it is that you can salvage, or not even salvage, but bring something new out of what could look like ashes between you and your brother, I really want you to be encouraged today that it's possible for you guys to create a new dynamic between the two of you, okay? It's not easy. Relationships are not easy, but I still do feel like they're worth fighting for when it is that somebody can take the lead on being healthy with the prayer that the other person will join you in that space of health, okay? Y'all, this is a lot. And I think that this is the reason why so many of our relationships stay fractured, is because of the effort that it would entail for them to be mended. Nevertheless, I feel like some relationships that have ended, I don't believe that God intended for them to end. But what was necessary, again, was for someone to be willing to have the courage and even take the risk to step out there and try to guide a situation to a place of reunification, healing, by way of forgiveness, okay? I know that that's easier said than done, but we all can take the time this week to actually examine, are there some relationships that I've walked away from or that I'm thinking about walking away from simply because I haven't had the courage, or even we can say the energy, to fight for it. But be careful to move through life as the type of person that wants people to fight for you, but you're not willing to fight for others. Just some food for thought, okay? I feel like that was good. All right, family, so you know what it is. It's literally group therapy on a Monday. What do I want you to do? I want you to send any questions that you have to the email. It's right there on the screen. All of the situations that you're experiencing, email those to us. And as you see, we will definitely share them on the show. And as always, I want you to like, I want you to comment, I want you to share, I want you to subscribe, I want you to do all the things, okay? Let somebody know that on Mondays, it's like literally we're getting free therapy in these streets, right? And so I'm excited about you guys trusting my voice, you trusting my insights, trusting my clinical expertise, trusting my wisdom, and just even listening to my voice. It is my prayer that this podcast is helpful to you. There's so many amazing podcasts out here, and I'm just hoping that this one is another to be added to the things that motivate you, that encourage you, as well as challenge you, and sometimes make you laugh on occasion, okay? All right, so I love all of you guys, and I will see you next Monday.